You know, when we see evil or go through a season of suffering, it often makes us cry out to God and ask Him why. That's how suffering boxes us in, because suffering doesn't make any sense. How do we respond when we have a family member who receives some discouraging news from the doctor? A job that we were counting on falls through. You find out that the girl or guy with dreams doesn't feel the same about you. Or you lose a loved one. Or you experience a natural disaster or disease that plagues the world and destroys thousands of innocent lives. Everything in us knows that it's not the way that it should be. And that's true because it is not the way that it should be. God feels exactly the same way about you. Evil and suffering were never what He intended. He never desired evil and sin for our world. But sin and death have entered into our world, and that has caused us to destined to be suffering. In sending Jesus to earth, we learn that God doesn't let us suffer alone. And through Jesus' sacrifice on the cross, we learn that we have a God that does answer why bad things happen to us. He takes that punishment of sin upon Himself. Sin and evil are so bad that not only does it cost us everything, it costs God everything. We can read about this suffering that Jesus faced in Luke chapter 22, verse 63, where it says, "The guards in charge of Jesus began mocking and beating Him. They blindfolded Him and said, 'Prophesy to us, which one of us hit you this time?' And then they hurled all sorts of terrible insults at Him." We're often told to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, but there are valleys in life that we aren't always capable of climbing out of on our own. The strongest people of faith are the ones who know their weaknesses and surrender them to God, who holds the universe in the palm of His hand. The only thing that can bring true and lasting peace to us in times of suffering like now is the presence of God. And so here's the question. Describe or think about a moment, a significant season of suffering. How can the presence of God give you true and lasting peace right now? God wants to break you out of the box that you're in of suffering and allow you to see that even in the darkest valleys, He works all things out for His good and for His glory.